Welcome back. Today, we are unpacking a massive hidden risk in modern product development. Right now, product teams everywhere are building these brilliant AI features, typing a handful of basic prompts into a testing environment, getting 5 perfect answers, and confidently telling their engineers, "Yep, ship it." Well, in this explainer, we're going to look at exactly why relying on those quick sanity checks for your AI is essentially a ticking time bomb, and more importantly, how to fundamentally fix it before it blows up your product.
I mean, let's be real here. Typing just 5 prompts and calling it a day, you are playing a highly dangerous game with your product launch. It's literally playing Russian roulette with your brand's reputation. The brutal truth about building AI products today is that the era of the quick sanity check, it's completely over. Sure, it worked in the past for traditional software, but applying that same logic to modern AI is just setting yourself up for a very public, very painful failure.
So what's the fundamental shift here? Well, we're trying to test modern, wildly unpredictable probabilistic AI systems using outdated methods meant for deterministic software. Think about it. Deterministic code is predictable, right? If you do X, you will absolutely always get Y. But an AI model, it's probabilistic. It's this massive reasoning engine that's just calculating the most likely next word. So if you're relying on manual gut checks to validate a probabilistic system, you are never going to earn the confidence of your stakeholders. Why? Because the system's behavior changes based on context that we just can't always see.
You know, product managers today are absolutely terrified of hallucinations, and rightfully so. But here's the core problem we have to face. Manual testing simply doesn't scale. You literally cannot manually dream up every bizarre edge case, weird phrasing, or absolutely unhinged scenario a user is going to throw at your AI agent. Trying to brainstorm all of that in a vacuum is a totally losing battle. What you actually need is a system that tests the AI's reasoning at a massive scale, way before a single real customer ever gets their hands on it. And here is a brutal reality check for you. Organizations right now are facing a staggering 39% failure rate in their AI projects. Almost 4 in 10. And why is that? It's not because the underlying models are inherently bad. Not at all. It's entirely due to inadequate evaluation, monitoring, and governance. Companies are just rushing to deploy these incredibly powerful tools without any sort of safety net. And yeah, nearly 40% of the time it's blowing up right in their faces.
And to make matters worse, think about the direct impact this has on the end user. A recent Deloitte survey revealed that 1/3 of generative AI users, that's 33% of people, have already received incorrect or actively misleading answers from these systems. Your users are being actively misled because the standard testing process is just fundamentally broken. They are out there experiencing the exact failures that your manual testing completely missed.
Because without rigorous testing, your AI is absolutely going to confidently hallucinate. And just to be clear, a hallucination happens when an AI doesn't have the exact answer, so it just creatively fills in the gaps with unverified assumptions. If you don't rigorously catch those assumptions, the AI will confidently amplify total misunderstandings. We're talking about the AI inventing fake market sizes, fabricating product features out of thin air, and offering disastrous, wildly incorrect advice directly to your actual customers.
It's kind of funny, but it's a brutal truth. Relying on yourself and an intern for 30 minutes of random manual testing, that isn't an AI strategy. It's a prayer circle. You're basically just crossing your fingers and hoping the model doesn't go rogue on a Tuesday. When you don't have a scalable way to test, hope basically becomes your only defense mechanism. And let me tell you, hope absolutely does not scale in enterprise software.
Look, if you throw a naked LLM into production without knowing exactly why it gives specific answers, you aren't doing product management. You are abdicating your responsibility. This leads to zero auditability. You're flying completely blind. And honestly, executives will shut down your entire AI initiative the exact second a hallucination hits a high-value customer. You absolutely have to be able to quantitatively prove why the AI gave the answer it did.
Okay, so how do we actually fix this mess? The answer lies in what we call synthetic evals. Synthetic evals act as automated acceptance criteria. They allow you to simulate user interactions at a massive scale before anyone even sees the agent. Think of this as the real game changer for modern AI workflows. Instead of waiting for real users to break your app, you are literally using AI to test your AI. Doing this kind of simulation at scale bridges that critical gap between just guessing and actually knowing.
Consider 2 very different approaches to building AI. First, you've got the hopeful PM. They type a quick question like, "Hey, what's our market size?" They get a $10 billion answer, say it looks good to me, ship it blindly, and then immediately lose all credibility with their sales team when it turns out to be totally wrong. Then you have the lethal PM. They run 50 synthetic traces, conservative, optimistic, regional. They catch the discrepancies early, fix the bad logic, require citations, and frankly, they're the ones getting promoted.
So let's dive into the exact tactical playbook. How do you actually become that lethal PM? Well, it involves a rigorous 5-step synthetic evaluation workflow to catch bad logic before it ever hits a development sprint. This is exactly how you shift from guessing to a structured, repeatable validation process. Let's break down each step right now so you can implement this immediately.
Step 1. Generate synthetic data. And notice I said synthetic data. Please do not use basic manual inputs here. You want to use an AI simulator to craft complex, highly specific user traces. We're talking optimistic scenarios, ultra-conservative estimates, and really complex regional-specific data traces. You are generating hundreds of diverse, tricky scenarios before a real human is even involved in the process.
Next up, step 2. You take all of that generated data and you run your workflow. You forcefully push these hundreds of diverse synthetic traces directly through your AI agent or your RAG pipeline, the system that feeds your company's private data to the AI. This is where you stress test the entire system at scale, putting it under the exact kind of unpredictable pressure it's going to face in the real world.
Then we hit step 3, and this is where the magic really happens. You use an evaluation framework to automatically score whether the AI's output actually matched the objective truth and the expected business logic it was supposed to follow. Like, did it give a mathematically correct answer? Did it respect your specific brand guidelines? This step takes those subjective gut checks and turns them into hard, quantitative pass or fail metrics.
Now, step 4 is absolutely vital for auditability. You must store the reasoning and the citations. You have to log the traces, the AI's exact reasoning process, and its citations. Because if you don't store the why, you literally cannot debug it later when things inevitably go wrong. You need to be able to confidently walk into a room and say, I know exactly why the AI gave me this specific answer.
Finally, step 5. This acts as your ultimate safety net. The system automatically routes any flagged discrepancies, anomalies, or bizarre hallucinations directly to a human for review. So you aren't manually checking everything anymore. You're only spending your valuable time reviewing the specific, tricky edge cases where the AI actually failed its synthetic evaluation.
Ultimately, following this workflow fundamentally shifts your AI from blind guessing to rigorous, evidence-based reasoning. When you start requiring citations and you review comprehensive trace logs through synthetic evals, you completely eliminate those risky gut feelings. You transform your entire development culture into one that relies on mathematical proof and verifiable evidence, which is absolutely huge. So I want you to look at your AI roadmap right now and ask yourself this direct challenge. Are you building an evidence-based system that can mathematically prove its reliability to your stakeholders? Or, by relying on manual tests, are you really just scaling bad assumptions at the speed of light? It's a pretty stark choice. And honestly, the survival of your AI feature depends entirely on your answer.
Remember, using AI in product development does not remove your responsibility, it actually sharpens it. You cannot manage AI risk with gut feelings anymore. Automate your confidence by implementing synthetic evals today so you can ruthlessly catch those hallucinations way before your customers do. AI won't make you less strategic, it's going to make your strategy much harder to ignore. So I've got to know. Let me know in the comments, what is the absolute most ridiculous hallucination your AI has ever produced during testing? I seriously can't wait to read them. Keep building safely, and we will see you in the next explainer.